and we'll touch that one later if time allows. But this one about finance, most of us missed this chance of learning about finance in our colleges or in our schools or when we were growing up. In fact, discussing money then, for me, it was not per se a taboo, but it was not something that was welcome. You either discuss money when you are giving the balance to the person who sent you that matchbox, kiberit, or sukari. So we didn't have a chance to discuss money. And I don't know if the current CBC model has incorporated this, but we should be having a time to discuss amount of money. Because money, it all rotates about money. The Bible talks about that money solves all problems. I don't know about that verse. I don't want to go that side of preaching, but it solves problems. So money, when we are talking about financial literacy today, I'm calling it financial literacy today because majority of you are youth. The same topic, if you would have gone to people who are above 40 years, I would have called it financial fitness. It's still the same thing, the same basics, but today let us major on financial literacy. I'm not saying that you are illiterate, but if you feel you have not made it in life, allow me to say that you could be financially illiterate. Illiterate because we have not known how to mingle and how to interact with money. So our talk today, it's a conversation, and it is not something that, like the elder said, I'm not coming with something new. I'm basically reminding you what people say you should do. Now it is you who is supposed to do it. It has come that time for you to implement. And in this platform, there are various people. Yeah, we have youth, we have others, our parents, and we have some others, our elders. Regardless of whom you are, I will categorize you into two groups. One, there are those people who feel that they have done well in life. And when you check, yeah, it's true. They are doing well. Things are working out for them. They have managed to be at what they wanted. And we thank God for that. In fact, it is a testimony that we can also make it. But the reason you are here, probably, it's because you want to do better, because there is always a great opportunity ahead of us. You can always do better, and you can always improve. Feel welcome. This forum will have given you another muscle that you can improve on. Likewise, the second group, there are people here who things have not gone the way they would like. Some of them completed their schools, their universities, and they are now living with certificates. And they wanted that life beyond the certificates, and things are not working out. Others started the businesses decided to go down, and you are not alone on that, so many people. Others have started some other projects. Some of us have been looking for jobs that are not coming through. You have worked, you have used your little savings on fares, dropping letters. Others, they tell you, don't do hard copy, do an email. You have been buying bundles like milk on a daily basis. And you feel like this is now enough. The reason you came here, it's because you want a change of that thing. And you come in here, that's a plus. So feel welcome in this forum. Whatever you discuss today will improve on your situation. And just to remind you that God is God of another chance. The Bible says that he is the one who laid the foundations of earth, and heavens is the work of his hands. I don't know if you can interpret those words on your own means. Laid the foundation of earth. If you just take, for example, this house or this church, foundations, when you read the foundation, you know what it means? It means the basic or the start point of the church. And the foundations makes it stronger. It makes it stay for that time. So for this one, foundations of the earth, it means God is so great. In fact, so great so that such that he can be able to do what we normally say. I don't know if you say it from your heart, that he can be able to do exceedingly and abundantly. Yeah, you know that verse. Above all. So it's not the end. God is still with you, and he's the one who changes stories. We have seen village boys and girls became seen small businesses thrive to become multinationals. We have seen people who are telling us they were victims and now they are victors. What matters is what are you doing to your current status? What are you doing to what you have? So when we talk about money, we get into it. When you talk about money, it's basically attitude of the money. So the financial literacy all rotates about money. And there's a way, a friend of mine has been telling me that pesa haipedi kelele. Have you heard that saying? I don't know how true is that, but also pesa haipedi wajinga. Allow me to use that word. Because if you have money and you don't know what you're supposed to do with it, wewe na yule mtu hana, you almost the same. Because the importance of money is to handle it on its parameters or how it's supposed to be handled. So for us, we know we get money, I'm done with school, I look for a job, I get a good employment. How good? I don't know. Then I'm paid. I buy myself a car, probably. And then for those of us who are family people, I get a good wife, husband. And then we get good children, we take them to school. And that's all. That's easier said than being done. You can now, you can testify that. If you are after school getting that job, it's not something that we thought that we would sleep and wake up. I now have that certificate, degree certificate. You take it to Joseph, and then Elder Joseph tells you, tomorrow come to my office for that job. Even our government is struggling to fill the demand of the jobs in the market. So it's not something that easy we are doing. For us who never wanted to be employed, you wanted to start that business. But what news are we getting? But as we sit here, so many companies are winding up in Kenya. And I don't know what could be your view on those companies that are winding up. We, for the last few days, I'm not political on this one. I am not a politics person. But the last to do was the cocoa, you know, the cocoa company. But then if you trace my origin, you'll find it in Nyeri. So, kisikia shida ya matamshi kidogo, bear with me. I'm planning and I've started improving on that. So the cocoa company, the people who sell the substitute for gas, they're in the company, they have rolled up. And you are here, you're also planning to start a business. The giants are closing up, and you are starting to start a business. Am I saying that we should not start businesses? No. The other one we have, DT Dobby. If they have not closed their company, they have restructured the way they operate here. I don't know if it is the environment which is not good for business, or it is their line which is not good for business, or it is the regulations, or the policies, or our government, or we are not supporting them. What I'm trying to say is, what you are trying to do today, we will not be the first person doing it. Some other people have been there and they have tried. What matters is how you do it. Are you determined enough to continue doing it and do it in a special way? Well, the cocoa are closing down. I visited a place where we had someone making that gas, the cooking gas, I'd call it gas, in quotes, from banana waste. A plant in Kisii. And they are now trying to be second from cocoa. So what happens when cocoa vacates the market? They become the first. So at times, you could be thinking you are doing wrong or you are doing badly, but that other person who is competing with you has seen an opportunity. If you give up, the other person comes in. Now, at what point do we give up? That is what we should think of. At what time do I give up? But let's go back to the money matters. If you have a question, I would request that you put it down at the end of the discussion. We'll talk about it. We can deliberate on that question. Financial literacy, it is the art of monitoring all understanding money. I'm trying to use that language that you can understand. It is our attitude towards money. It is how you handle money. That is what we call financial literacy. From earning your money, how you do with your money, where you want your money to go. Tuko pamoja? Are we together? Please talk to me. It's not that thing you think that it is what you do to get money. In fact, getting money, you have to work. That's the only remedy I have for people who want money. But you can work and get a lot of money, but will that money help you today, tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow? So it's financial literacy is the wisdom or the discipline we have when planning and budgeting for our money. There's another new term there, budgeting. And the money, the financial literacy, I said earlier, it's money mindset. When you are dealing with doctors, I know you have friends who are doctors, there is that thing that you know we have to discuss with this doctor. Or when you want to get him, you know you'll get him when he is not at work. And you can be with him and he gets a call and he tells you, duty is calling. You just understand them that way. Then if you are dealing with a preacher or people of God, you expect that you have to meet in some decent places. Ruaru, you can't meet your reverend. I won't mention places, but allow that place, you know, or that other one in that other place. You have to meet them in a decent place. That's how you handle everything. Same case, there's the way we should handle money. That attitude or that preference or that special treatment with money. And if you don't handle it well, it will handle you. If you don't plan for your money, the money will plan for what you do with it. It's that simple. You plan where your money goes, or your money plans where it goes. Have you ever seen those people who go to a supermarket and they do shopping? Then they feel like, those people are very expensive. Just these things, and probably they have counted it wrongly. And ako hapo nje na receipt hivi, akiangalia vitu hivi, hata hajafika home. These things are there. Probably we blame our economy for that. But if you had planned for what you want, you would end up knowing that if I want a packet of unga, it would go probably around 170. So when you are choosing or picking them, you would know it's not 170, it's 180. But these other people, they would pick unga, and then they go, when they are paying, that's when they feel like, that's too much. I expected 800, it's now 1,200. But because we don't want the embarrassment, you pay. Then outside, hapo tu kwa supermarket, you want to know, ama ameniwekea za huyu alikuwa mbele yangu. These are the things that requires our money mindset setup. It looks, let me use foolish when doing those things, but I've had people who have given testimony that they work for them. When you're talking about money mindset, you don't just get into impulse buying now and then. You have planned where to take your money. There are some people who can't live with money in the same place. Ukiwa tu hivi na dhao, hiyo inakusubua tu. Unakumbuka vitu kwa nyumba zinaisha. Unakumbuka hiyo kiatu hawezi kufikisha December when you have money. Kuna ako kajoto that comes. But that's the discipline we are talking of. When you go to a supermarket, and our supermarkets here in our country, every Friday they will be sending you the offers they have. I don't know if you receive those messages. Even if you don't receive them, when you get in social media, they are there. They are telling you even they were selling a bread at 80 shillings. They are now selling. There's a huge discount of 2 bob, which is good. Discounts are good. But for example, a can of honey. Honey, in this case, namaanisha asari. Tuko pamoja. Asari, not the other honey, you know. Asari, the packaged one. And you find it in that supermarket. Normally, a kg would retail at 8,000 to 1,000. 800 to 1,000. And then you find that there's an offer. Instead of selling it at 900, they're now selling it 750. And because you are there, you decide this is a good deal. The honey in your house, it's half. So you decide, I'll buy it because the deal is too good. You are saving 150. So that 150 that you'll save, then you come stay with that honey for the next 1 month. You know, honey, it's not something that you use daily in Aisha. So you stay with it for the next 1.5 months because haujaitumia hiyo pesa umeweka tu hapo, because it was a good deal. And you think you have made a deal. I'm not saying we don't go for those discounts, but buy only what you need. The 800 imelala kwa nyumba, maybe, just maybe, if you bought something, if you are a business person, let's talk about a person who buys second-hand clothes. If you added that stock of 800, and within that month, that honey has slept in your house, you keep on investing that money to the business. So 800 inaweza tengeneza 1,000. I'm just thinking, utunue stock ya 800, and then you resell, unaweza pata 200 on top, upate 1,000. Si ndio? So between you, mwenye ametumia hiyo pesa for investment, the person akona asari, wewe unafikiria ako sawa na keep healthy, but wewe money wise you are okay. Your 200 can even buy a better quality of asari. So that is what I mean. We need to know the decisions we make. So for this financial literacy will assist us to know the decision we make about money. First, it's the attitude that we'll have our attitude towards money and the decisions we have to make. So I was wondering then, why did the chair tell me to talk about the financial literacy? What do you want to know, or what are the objectives of our training? It is simply what I'm saying. I'm training you about financial literacy because I want you to understand the money mindset. Know how to relate with money. That's the point number one. The objectives of this sitting today. We want you at the end of the day, you'll have developed a healthy money mindset. You know, when you're doing this, I request, I don't know who has our Bible, I request one person to read for us Proverbs 24, 5 to 6. You can see my friend Gwanda is on it. And then another person will be looking for, and the other one, a gentleman with a long hair. You read for us Proverbs 6, 6 to 8. And then Judith will read for us Proverbs 21, 20. So we start with Gwanda. You read with Proverbs 24, 5 to 6. Thank you. That is just a support of what we are doing today. You need wisdom. And the wisdom, we are getting it from here. It may not be wisdom per se because you have heard these things. If you find yourself there, just like you are here, we are on the right track. because you want to build on wisdom. My version says that victory is won through many advisors. Many advisors. When people are talking about money at Chodong, just be there. When people are talking about investment in that other place, just be there. The advantage of the young people we are here today, it's because you have the arrogance of you have the arrogance of time. You have a lot of time to make your decisions, and if you use your time wisely, you'll be able to get the best results. I'm saying you have a lot of time. I don't want you to go through on it, but unlike a person who is at 50 years, the difference would be they are planning for their pension, you are planning for how to start your life. So if you get to go to those places where you add wisdom, just know on money matters, you are on the right track with your money mindset. Learn about money, what money does, what money should be handled. I mean, how to handle that money. What can money do to you? We go to the person reading Ecclesiastes. We are now on the point number 2. Why we are learning this financial literacy is that because we want you to understand how money is earned and managed or multiplied. That's objective number 2. Thank you. You are to what we talked about earlier, getting wisdom. Wisdom makes one wise person. If you are just wise, you can be powerful than 10 rulers in the city. I don't know if you understand the context of that. Let's take one ruler of the city, a ruler of this city that we can say. We can give an example of a member of county assembly or even mzee wa nyumba kumi in this area. You can be more powerful than them because of wisdom. Okay. Luke 14:28 was doing that for us. Oh, we had not delegated. Okay, someone can do for us Luke 14:28. The way you are looking at me, guys, you don't want me to read Bible. Okay, I know. It is objective number 3, why financial fitness is good for us. We want to learn how to practice budgeting and control our money. You control your cost. That's the objective number 3. And I can read that one. It says, Luke 14:28. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Wouldn't you first sit down and estimate the cost? That's a question that we have from Luke. If you want to build a tower, or if you want to build a house, or you want to do that other project, it is wise, it is prudent if you can only just sit down and estimate the cost. That context is what we are calling budgeting. So the reason why you should learn about these finance matters is because we want you to understand how to do your budgeting. And budgeting by itself, it's a wide topic that we can take time to read about it, but we shall revisit later. Let's get back to it later. You just note, when you're able to learn about financial literacy, you'll be good in budgeting. And how do you do the budget? What is a budget, by the way? If you want to build a house, you first sit down and plan. I need how many foodies, how many clerk of works, watu wa mkono, how many tons of ballast, how many tons of sand. I need maybe the city county to approve that plan. Do you know about mjengo? So unajua hizo vitu zote? Okay, or if let's drop this issue of building. If you want to go to town from Babadogo stage, you have to be ready for it. You know the fare can't go beyond, on a normal basis, it won't go beyond 100 shillings. And if there is no strike, you'll get matatu, you can use a boda boda, you can use a Uber, or you can even drive. But if you choose to drive, you need to ensure that you have enough fuel for that matter. If you need to do a Uber, you need to ensure that you have that money that you can pay. And the place you are going, town, where do you want to be dropped? If you do matatu, and you want to go to Ngara, you won't wait for it to reach to town, that's when you are saying, nikuwa naenda wapi. It is a plan. Basically, we're talking about a plan. You need to plan for your finances. You need to plan for your money. You need to plan for what you get. If you get money and don't plan for it, that money will plan for itself. And that's when you start seeing those things that I said, very interesting ones. Yeah? But again, when you plan for your money, what do you do with it? How about that plan? I plan, I pay this one, I'll pay rent, blah, 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 blah. What do you do with the one that is left? Or in the first place, do you have a balance? Huwa inabaki? Pesa yako ukipangia, ama hiyo pesa unataka kupangia then, ukipangia inabaki? Most people hapa Kenya wanasema, hata inatosha kweli. But we still see other people doing great things. How, we don't know. I don't know who was, the other reason why I want us to understand this financial habit or this financial literacy, it's because I want us to learn how to build on savings and investment. Those are two different words. There is saving and investment. So they are mostly used in the same place, but they are very different. Saving ni something that you keep aside to be used later. Investment, it is the use of that saving. I would say the best use of that saving. So you would, let's say for example, you have earned your money, you have paid your bills, you have paid, of course, I must say paid, of course, tithe, because we are here with the Elder Joseph. Next time he told me that he would like to talk about tithe and the beliefs that surround tithe and why we should tithe, by the way. It's good to tithe. For those of you who are earning or those who are planning to earn, that's another topic by itself. So when you are left with, let's say you are left with 5,000 and you put them in a bank or you put them wherever you put your money, that is savings. Now in the future you decide this 5,000, it can start, like for Waru, you can say, I want to be training kids skating. So he may decide that I want to buy the skating gear so that he can be training the kids. You invest your 5,000 to buy skating gears so that the skating gears can earn you more money. The use of what you have saved is what we are calling savings. So it was, just understand it, that if you understand financial literacy, you'll be able to know on how to build on your savings and investment. I was just trying to differentiate the two because they mostly looks the same. So someone was reading for us Proverbs 21:20. Was that? I thought, was it you? Oh, it was Judith. The one, that one you are reading. And you know what? I won't read it till you read it. Proverbs 21:20. It's that one. The wise. Saving and investment habit. That's what we are talking about.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that. The wise store up choice food and olive oil.
But fools, it's written fools. Don't be afraid to talk about fools. But fools,
20.
120.
21:20. The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down.
Thank you. Thank you for that. The wise store up choice food and olive oil. This analogy is talking about food. I think it was talking about meats, preparation of meats or something. But fools gulp theirs down. So if you are saving, Proverbs 21:20, it's calling you a wise person. If you are capable of saving and you don't save, you are the opposite of the wise. And I won't fear saying you could be a fool. That's the interpretation of the Bible. And still my stand. You cannot spend all you had without having saved something. If you just keep on earning and spending, most people say that this is life. In future or tomorrow, you'll become a problem to us. You'll become a problem to your family members. People say that the Bible talks about we should not be worried about tomorrow. I agree, don't be worried about tomorrow. But have faith that tomorrow you'll be there. When that day comes, Bible talks about when you are doing well, you should be happy and you should celebrate. But that day of bad things, when it comes, you should think. Now, when thinking this, in this case, according to my interpretation, you require to think with something. If you only think and do nothing about it, you would have better saved that energy for thinking. If you are planning to think about your future and plan about your future and then do nothing about it, why don't you use that energy of thinking to do something else that you will implement in future? We cannot afford to think and then do nothing about it. We cannot afford to earn, then you don't save. Saving is the culture, and that is what we were not told. Whatever you do today as a youth, in future, it will be compounded to your benefit. You remember those things about, was it simple interest and compound interest? Guys, when we were saying, if I loan you 1,000 shillings, there are two types of calculating interest rates. I think those were basics. You must have come through that. At Akama, you dropped at class 8. Those were in primary school then. There was this method, the simple method of calculating interest rate. I think it was the simple interest rate. If it is 10%, you'll pay me with the 10%. But if it's compound interest, it includes even what you are paying. For example, if you save 1,000 shillings today, and that 1,000 shillings in a month, there's an example, it might not be the correct status. You save 1,000 today and you earn 100 shillings. So at the end of the month, you'll be having 1,000 that you saved and interest of 100 shillings. How much will you be having? Sorry? 1,100. That's nice, but we I don't know if we have 1,100 in English. We have 1,100. We look into that. So you'll be having 1,100. It's not small money. We are talking about, he was talking about USD. Your currency is USD? Yes, USD. He's talking about USD, so it's not about Kenya shillings. So compound interest, then going to the next month, the month of March, it will be counting that you have 1,100 shillings. That will be your starting point. So your interest, again, if you earn, let's say, 100 shillings, 100 USD, how much will you be having at the end of the month of March? So you are not following up. I'm saying this, you have earned 100 as interest for the money you saved 1,000. Then at the end of that month, you still earn 1,000 at interest. So compound interest dictates that you add whatever you earned to your initial amount, then you add the interest for that other month. So we were starting with 1,100 USD according to him. Then you add 100 USD. How much do you have at the end of the month? Yeah, 1,200 USD. So that's how compound interest works. So I was saying, whatever you do in your time as a youth, it will be compounded. It will not just grow like simple interest rate. If it is 10%, it will be 10%. It will be compounded. So whatever you do today matters. Whatever saving you do at your age matters. Whatever investment you do matters a lot. Then the other reason why we should be conversant with finance matters or finance literacy, it's because when you understand it, you will be able to protect yourself from financial and life risk. This is where insurance comes in. You have had people who talk about insurance and others sell insurance. This is where insurance comes in. It's only people who understand finance matters or have money mindset can easily get the insurance we are talking about. Saving for that rainy day, for that emergency. Why is it important? For example, we have saved our 5,000, as we said. Then an emergency hits. You need to see a doctor. In this case, how do you call them? Those doctors who specialize on that area are specialists. Thank you. You need to see a specialist, and the amount you need to pay is 5,000. And you had not saved. What do you start doing? Why are you borrowing? That's when I said, if you don't save, you'll become a bother to us. That's one way of becoming a bother to us. And today you'll tell me, oh, we have mobile apps. We'll come back to that. Those loans. So with the moment you go to borrowing, you only borrow if that's the last resort. And when it's necessary. By the way, we have good and bad debts. We also look into that later. So if you don't have the 5,000, you start borrowing. You start making calls. And when I make that call to Simon, if he doesn't loan me the 5,000, and I have seen him we buy a very huge shopping from the supermarket, he becomes my enemy. We are trying to avoid that disturbance in life. Financial literacy gives us peace of mind. And peace is very important and very costly. If you want peace, you have to learn how to handle your money. 80% of the conflicts that we have all over, be it in family, be it in organizations, it's brought about by lack of funds or lack of money. It's money matters. And earlier we saw that money solves problems. So if you have not saved, you'll go back to borrowing. Then you start that borrowing, you'll have to pay with interest, or if you get someone good and akupea, then you will refund it. But that means you will have, how do I call it? You just go around the Kadesh Banea thing. So next month you'll be working to pay for that loan. So you have not moved on. So those are some of the basics. That is not the reason why. Those are not the only reasons why we learn about financial matters. So those are just some. And we have seen, if you want peace, you just understand the money mindset. Understanding the money mindset is understanding the attitude of money, understanding how we make money, understanding how we plan for our finances, how we save for the emergency, or rather for that rainy day, and then what to do when it comes to investment. Yeah, so we move on then to something else that I decided that we need to look at. The journey towards financial literacy. We know why then you should learn about financial literacy. Then how do we get there? Or we just sit waiting things to happen? The era we are in, we don't just need to wait for the things. We need to make them happen. We are the people. The change we wanted, we are the change that we needed then. It has come to you. We need to understand that money is a tool. It's not a master of everything, but money is a tool. So when we want to let me use Ruaru. When Ruaru would like to do his work, tumpatie tu kazi ya kuvuja ile mlango kama imefungwa, and maybe we don't have the key. And then mlango anapaswa kuivuja on his own ways. So anazaamua kuisukuma, anazaamua kufanya nini tena? Sorry? Anaweza amua kuiombea. That's another thing kama itafunguka. Ya gereza ilifunguka. Anaweza amua kuja na grinder, si ndio? Ama anaweza amua kutafuta watu waisukume. Which one do you think is easier? From this side they are saying it's grinder. This other side, which one is easier? Kuombea. Grinder. So grinder becomes his tool of work. So money is your tool of work. It is not a master of everything. And I'm not saying that if you don't have money, that the world will end tomorrow. No. It is your tool of work. So whatever you do with that tool of work, it's up to you now to decide which tool to use and when. You know, every person, I remember that every person here, we just like minds. You know the minds that we have? Kware. Within you, there is the deposit that can benefit us. Some have gold, some have the building stones, some have coal, some have diamonds. But how deep you go within that mine, it's determined by what is within the mine. For example, people who mine gold, I'm told they go under so many feet. But those people who just need sand, they don't go that deep, right? So whatever you are mining determines how deep you go. So whatever you want to do with your money determines the tool you want to use. Money will be your tool. When we are earning, I said earlier, the benefits, the ways of earning money, getting money is just to look for money, earning money. If you want money, fanya tu kazi. That's the only legal way, you know. Ufanya kazi, or you do business, all those ones are calling them kufanya kazi. But ukikaa pale, if you want maybe to be given an inheritance, it may not come through your way. You may find also that the inheritance had some other issues. Some of us, I'm told that they want to just sit and they get a sponsor. Sponsor is an old name. What are you calling them nowadays? Okay. You get someone who sponsors your life, and then you make it in life. Okay. You may be that lucky, but the only way of getting money is earning money. And when you earn money, you build your income. So if getting employed is normal, you can earn salary, and then you go to the other income. You know, you can be earning today. You know, those people who say that when I start getting a lot of money, that is when I receive. That is a scam. If you can't do the little with the little you have, there will be no miracle to enable you save when you get those millions. I have seen people who are earning much, and by the end of the month, they are still in loans. They are still asking for advances, and they earn a lot of money. So if you don't develop that culture of saving today, nothing will happen in future that it will make you just automatically develop that urge of savings. You run it simple, and as you progress. So if you get that other income that I'm talking about, we call them side hustle. For me, I call it passive income. There are two types of income. There's active income. For example, take an example of somebody employed, because that's where we want to start. You earn salary. That salary, you become someone who is earning active income. But you can still be employed and then start that online business, or become a content creator. I'm told you'll be paid by those, is it YouTube or TikTok or some other things? So for passive income, you don't need to be working there. You just need to do one thing and then money comes. We should learn to go for those other ways. If your income is not sufficient to you, look for some other things. Know where to put your tents. So some people were asking me in the last sitting we had, is it good to have side hustle? It is not only good, but the best thing to do. You will supplement your income. But do it in a way that pleases God, number one, and in a way that makes your boss also not hurt. You cannot be doing what your boss does and then you call it a side hustle. We call it conflict of interest. Have you ever heard of those terms? Yes, you conflict your interest. You can even think of starting a business. For people who could plan to be married, one would decide that I will be doing the active. I'll be employed for salary that comes along every month, but that requires me from 8 to 5. Then the other person, you can start a business. You get active and passive income. So earning, it has wide range, but the way of making money for me that I know, you have to work. You have to plan for ways of earning money. You can use your skills. You can use your characters. Nowadays, you have the content creation. There are so many ways. If you are able, for others who are ahead of us, you can be employed and then decide, I'll set up. This is an example. I know you don't want to hear about building houses. Let me call you this generation. You have another avenue of making money. People can just decide, if he has a plot in Alaksama, he just brings up a house, and then at the end of the month, it gives him or her some rental income. He'll still be going to work, but still can get some other income elsewhere. So that's what I'm talking about: income, passive, and active. So we also, through this journey, so you have to work. Number one, you have to work. The one, just like the objectives, also the journey towards financial literacy, you also need to have the money mindset, and then you manage and monitor your money. We said how to understand financial literacy. It's that you need to budget for your money. Still towards this journey of attaining financial fitness or financial freedom, you got to learn about how to manage your money. It is about budgeting. When we're talking about managing your money, we talk about budgeting. And then we come to saving. How do we save our money? Where do we save our money? Which is the best, company that where you save your money, you get that big interest. Nowadays, we have so many avenues that are saving money. Have you ever heard about, we have the money market, we have the shares, we have the stocks. Name them, all those ones. And then we have the SACCOs. I don't know, fixed accounts. Those are the things that you need to understand, so that if you furnish yourself with that knowledge, you'll be able to understand the journey towards the financial literacy. So this is the journey that you take, so many things, but if you consider those three things, just a repeat of objectives, the objectives becomes, if you implement the objectives, you get your journey towards financial fitness. I need to rush because of time, but allow me to talk about some few things. The hard truths. I told you this is not about motivational speaking. The hard truth is that you need to earn, then live below your means. Or rather, not below. Let me use a friendly word. You need to earn and live within your means. Otherwise, if you live outside your means, you will become again a bother to us. Because what happens, we'll start making the calls that we said. You'll start visiting those apps in your phone. You'll start looking for that digital loan. You'll start calling your uncle. I'm going back to school, we have a trip. You start even coming up with some rice. We have a trip that we need to go. So if you are earning money, live within your means. This life is no competition, my friend. Just live whom you are and where you can afford. We said when we were starting that it is one thing to find yourself where you are not fitting or in that background that's humble, and again, another one to stay there. But we cannot just learn how to walk, then to learning. I mean, it's a process. This life respects protocols. It respects the processes. You don't just wake up and then you want to be driving that prestige. What is that car? Your dream car? Yeah, if you don't, she's saying Mercedes. Or do you have a different option? I won't ask you. Let's ask the lady here. What's your dream car? Yes. Sorry? A Toyota. Yes. That? OTX. Okay, fine. You don't, if that's your dream car, it's good to have that. That's now a plan that we have. But you don't just get employed today and you think you'll get it at the end of the month, not unless your income is too huge. So for you to get that, if you're earning, for example, let's talk about 100K at the end of the month, and you have that dream, you want to achieve that project, then you look for a house that you need to pay rent for 110,000. Do you think you'll get that dream item that you need? Those are the things that I'm saying. You live within your means. You just know what you need to, but if, only if you can manage it. Don't copy what Ruaru did. If you see her with a Mercedes, don't go to compete with her. You start looking for, okay. You said Forester, okay, you start looking for Forester for that thing. So you just live within your means. Achana na stress. Just do what you can. That's how you make it. I would say. You know, some of us tunaangalia social media and we are like, hey, people are doing good outside here. And we don't know what that's heading. And that's why we have so many cases of even people who are in denial. You don't accept whom you are. First of all, accept whom you are, and that's brought about by living within your means. If today you cannot afford that road trip, you can't just, the world won't end because you didn't go for the road trip. Wait for that time that you'll be able to afford. But you don't need to be getting to that app. You start having so many calls, people calling you because you did not afford. You wanted to show people that you can be able to go for a road trip. Track your money or you lose control. I've repeated this so many times. If you don't track your money, I will say it will track you where you are. You could be doing it like person who don't understand about money. And how do we track our money? Then avoid bad debt and build for emergency. Save for emergency. Avoid debts. Avoid bad debts. I think I should say avoid bad debts. You know, there are debts that we get and then they were not necessary. Only borrow when it is necessary. When it is most necessary, not when it is ideal. Only borrow when it is necessary. When it is very necessary to borrow. You see these loans that we are taking, they are all over. They are even calling us. They are telling us that I got this app, I got this money without struggle, just your ID and something. Before you even get there, ask yourself about how will I repay that money? And the interest you are getting in day in, day out. I know most so just borrow only when it is necessary. That's what I would do. When it is needed, not when it is ideal. Not because you qualify at, let me try if I can get this 20,000. Yeah, you get it, then you find the interest from the 20,000. It is even 6,000. And they will deduct it first. So you are going to get 14,000. And what you want to do with that money, make sure it gives you more than the interest you have paid. If it is even for business. If you want 50,000 for business, you have your plan for your business. If you are not going to make more money than 50,000, eventually, don't go for that loan. If you are borrowing 20,000, 6,000, it's interest for that 1 month. And whatever you are doing with the 20,000 won't give you 6,000. You don't need that loan. It won't benefit you because it will leave you in more worse situation. So in short, what we are saying is that you need to have the mindset for the money, and you need to control what you earn, then have the discipline. Discipline is the key in everything. You know, discipline has been mentioned since we went to school, and now this is life. I'm earning my money. Why are you telling me to have discipline? It is my money. Fine. It will be your money, but you don't have discipline on how you spend your money, on what you do with your money. This time around, you want to become a bother to us. That discipline, you'll come to look for it when it is too late. You start gaining discipline at the age of 60. That's when you realize, oh, I needed to have saved this thing. I needed to have done this thing. You know, for you, you are on a more advantage platform because you are learning this when it matters. Some other people don't know about it till it becomes at the age of 50. Yeah? That's when you are asked, do you have a pension? Do you have a pension plan? I mean, are you saving for retirement? Do you know the kids will be going to school next year? You have a university kid? Probably you didn't plan for it, or you didn't even know that you were supposed to plan for it. But you know, life respects, no, ignorance is not respected by life. So once you have discipline, and then you have protection, or rather what we call the insurance, or you save for that rainy day, for that emergency, then you need to have patience if you're doing that. Because if you've invested your small money, we don't expect it to grow overnight. Some of the fixed accounts that we have, you are told to lock your money for a year or 6 months plus. Sindio? So you don't expect you take your money today for a fixed account, then tomorrow you expect the interest. You got to have patience. Even Rome was not building one day. So that is it about financial literacy. Hizi zingine zitakuwa tu extra. Have the money mindset. Control your money. Of course, you will have the revenue, whether it is business, whether you are earning it. Then have discipline on how you spend your money. This controlling your money includes the budgeting that we talked about. And then you have the protection, or rather, save for the rainy day, or have the emergency kitty. I call it emergency kitty. A friend of mine told me that when you have emergency kitty, it means that we are attracting the unwanted. That why should I keep money for a rainy day? And I don't even see the crowds. Why should I keep money to use as emergency, and I don't want the emergency to come? It will come even if you don't want it to come. Then after you save, just have patience. The thing I said about it is because you have ample time to start doing it now. By the time you realize, even if you start with the low interest now, by the time you become to that other age, unlike now, Elder Joseph, soon he'll be starting to ask about pension plans. Because time for saving is now becoming very squeezed. So for you, plan yourself well. You are lucky because, or you are blessed because you have platforms that can tell you on what to do with your money. What happens to those other people who don't know about such platforms? They discuss it. Nowadays, banks are organizing even online webinars. They are telling people, hey, our entrepreneurs will be having this webinar. We are training on how to invest, on how to save money. For them, they are doing it to eliminate their customers so that they can save more in their bank. But here, thanks to the chairman, he has organized this platform so that you can know and benefit yourself more. Chairman doesn't want you to bring your savings to him. It is because of your own financial discipline, for your own financial gain. So I said earlier that we want to touch on, I'm done with financial literacy. I'm done with the money mindset matters. You just need to understand those things. And I won't repeat them. If you have a question, just put it down. Let's talk about budgeting. The chair had requested me to talk about budgeting. And I don't know how good to talk about budgeting. Budgeting, a budget is a plan. It's simply a plan of how you want to spend your money. We have budget in our houses. In church, you also have a budget. You understand that, I don't know, it's one of the requirements for the handover or one of the requirements when we want to request for money. The country has budget every, is it July or June? And we are working towards that budget. It's not budgeted for. So budget is the plan of how we spend our money. Now you have the money, you are there, you have the money. You are earning the money from that employment. You are earning the money from that business. Or even you got that money, you are given that money. If you don't plan how to use that money, then you might be lost along the way. It's just a guideline on how you spend that money. There are so many methods of doing the budgets, but I decided that we just go to one. Just an example. This is not the best. I'm not saying it's the best, but most people have used it. It's not commonly used for us because most of us are in employment, and those who are in business, whatever you earn from the business now becomes your revenue, becomes your profit. For Gwanda in business, he has the capital, hii pesa usiguze hii ni ya kununua stock. Then faida ndio naenda nayo home. He goes with breakfast, anabeba maziwa, he pays school fees with it, such things. So that money for him, that's what we want to plan for it. Even if he has money and doesn't plan for it, he doesn't have a guideline, and he is a person of impulse buying. Hiyo pesa hata haiwezi fika nyumbani. That is the day you find the quality shoe, that quality mutuba shoe have waited for long. Hiyo time ndio unapatana hata na ile kitabu mzuri sana you wanted to read. That's when you find stock mpya ya dresses, a new hairstyle. I mean, that's when you find a good seat that you can put in your house. Things that if you don't do today, the world won't stop tomorrow. So we need to have a guideline to plan for our money. There's a budget rule that is called 50-30-20 rule. 50-30-20 rule, 50/30/20 rule. When you add it up, it becomes to 100. It talks about how we should organize our budget. I mean, the way it is, it talks about needs, wants, and saving. Don't write, listen first. 50% goes to needs. We all know our needs. I think that was social science. And then wants. And then the other saving. So the first 50% is going to need. I have said this is a rule. It is not my own rule. It's there. You may run it period, but this is how it goes. So 50% of your earning goes to needs. Then 30% goes to wants. Then 20% goes to savings. Most people have said it have worked for them. Why the big chunk of 50%? Let's dissect it kidogo. What do you mean by needs? Needs are non-negotiable things that you need to do. Those are expenses that you must pay. If you're employed and you're working in town, for you to continue earning, you need to pay for bus fare, or you need to fuel your car. Those are the needs. Those are the things that I'm saying. They are non-negotiable. Otherwise, if you don't go to job, what will happen? You get fired. No. Because we need that revenue in the future. Those are some of the, and needs vary depending on whom you are. There's a person, to them, buying a car, it's a need. And to you, probably it's a want. If you don't go to your work driving, you won't die. But there are some other people who, they will not die if they don't go driving, but to car is necessary to them. For example, those people whom are salespeople, that's just an example. They want to move from places to places to places. If you tell them to be using a boda, they will use all the emergency funds on hospital bills. There's some other meetings require that you do. Those meetings maybe are enough. They will be marked along the way. I mean, the needs and wants in our cases vary. It's up to you to know what you are doing is a need or it's a want. There are needs like basic food. Now, if you don't eat, you may not even be able to look for that revenue in future. If, for parents, you don't pay that school fees, to them becomes a need because they don't want the kids to be at home. So that's why I'm saying needs and wants differ. They're on different places. So in that income, you're expected to handle your needs within 50%, according to this rule, 50-30-20 rule. So your needs, your house rent, your food, shopping, and the like, 50%. So let's talk about 100,000. The person 100,000. I'm using 100,000 because you can easily calculate the percentage. So 50% of 100,000. 5,000 or 50,000. So if from what you're earning, you got home 100,000 shillings and 50,000, if your expenses doesn't fit on the 50, the needs doesn't fit on the 50,000, definitely you're on the wrong track. Let's use an example of food and rent and transport. Let me just call those ones needs for now. If your rent and transport and food, you are spending more than 50, according to this rule, 50-30-20 rule, you're on the wrong trajectory. You won't do better. you become a bother to us. I said in the other time, you become a bother to us. You are just a candidate of becoming a bother to us. Because what will happen, if your money is not enough, you can't just eat, you start borrowing. Or if you are the cashier of that job, you will start using their money without even knowing. I will fund at the end of the month. I will fund tomorrow. Then eventually, you'll find you're in a big hole. So likewise, the 30% should go to wants. And wants are those expenses that improve the quality of your life, but they are not essential. They improve the quality of your life, yes, but they are not essential. You can do without them. The world will not end tomorrow because you don't have them. That is what we define as want. For example, if you are the kind of person who likes eating out, you know eating out is a bit expensive, more than when you prepare it in-house, I would assume. If you eat in-house, it will make no difference. It will improve the quality of your life. You will be able to have traveled, but still, it was not essential if you could have done it at home. It's just for entertainment. You're just trying to improve the quality of life. Entertainment also. Ruaru, if you don't have Netflix account, if you won't pay for it, life won't stop. But you will have, for you to tell me, I learned so many things from the movies. Fine, but the life won't stop. It's good because it improves the quality of a life. But again, it is not essential. I'm not saying that we do away with those accounts, the DSTV ones, and like if you can afford, well and good. But we are trying to fit into the 50-30-20 rule. So those are the expenses that you count in the 30. Yeah? Shopping beyond what you want. When you do shopping, we are doing shopping. In the 50%, we are doing shopping for only the basic needs. Food, blah, 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 what you need. But in this case, if you want to do a shopping for 3 handbags or extra handbag, you can do without it. You can use the old one that you have and still survive. You can do without this new one. So that's why it's becoming a want. So wants are there. They are necessary. They improve the quality of our life, but you can still do without them. So they are not necessary, I would say, even if they make your life better. For example, if you want to upgrade your phone, you can still use that one you have, as long as it's making communication. It's the mere basic ones. But having, I want to mention names, for that other phone, the high-end phone, kama ya Ruaru, you would see it, you can still do with that Motorola. Motorola was the phone I used to use during my age. Motorola, other than buying the one you have now, as long as you are making the communication. So, if your budget is not fitting on the 50-30 rule, even without going to the 20, because 20 is now the savings, you need first of all to start slashing them. And you start with wants. If you want to make changes, you see, we said some others are not negotiable. Kuna zile unasema hapa, mambo ya food jamani, hiyo wacha tu. This Bolaru unasema Netflix, you can negotiate with it, Netflix or something, or some other subscription, it's not negotiable. To the parents, they would say, school fees, no. Let's see if we reduce the internet and the other charges. But for school fees, you have to pay the school fees first. If you want to go for swimming now and then, the kids want to go swimming, they want to go out, they want to go for funfair and the like, and you have the other options. It's prudent, it's untouchable for now. It might become your need. But for swimming, funfair, you can say this one, it's a want. And when you want to slash your budget to fit it where you are, we have said you start with wants. So, hapo ndio unaanza kuangalia, and that's why you see the government, some projects, they start slashing or we start increasing. If your budget is not fitting on the 50-30-20 rule, there are 2 options. You slash the expenses or you increase the revenue. So that now your 100 becomes more. If 50,000 was going to the needs, 30,000 is going to the wants, and then the 20, it's supposed to go to saving. Saving and investment and your future. That includes things like the emergency fund I said, Unaweka hii hapa in case of that rainy day. You save in that one. You want to join a circle. You want to invest in, if you have a loan, you had borrowed the 5,000 that we talked about, it comes here. So if you find you are paying a loan more than the 20% of what you are earning, reconsider rebudgeting, if there is such a word. We're not doing well. Loans, but what do you find nowadays? We are paying, the 50% is being replaced by loans, or even more. The person is earning 100,000,